The next item is solar crosswalk signs. This is a program that my colleague, Mr. Koss, has championed to the benefit of the city to bring crosswalk signs to Avon Lake in certain locations in which raising the awareness of pedestrians is critical. That has worked effectively in the past year, and at his behest, the Public Service Committee considered making some additional improvements of some of our crosswalks with solar crosswalk signs. The Public Service Committee authorized the Public Works Department to move forward with at least a couple signs and possibly others, and depending on, what the Public Works Department has determined, we'll move forward at the next council meeting to approve, probably by motion, Mrs. Dopp. But I'll defer to Mr. Wrights as to the number and locations that the Public Works Department has determined. Thank you.
Mr. Wrights?
Thank you. We are getting prices for crosswalks on Lake Road at State Route 83, Walker Road at Belmar, and I've reached out to one of our vendors that we have purchased crosswalks from before in trying to get quotes. So I will let Mr. James know as soon as I get the quote in, and then we can decide to bring it forward at that point.
Thank you, sir. Further discussion? Next item, Mr. James.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last item this evening for Public Works is a Avon Lake Health Services Advisory Commission. As my colleagues on council know, last year we voted to join the Lorain County Health Department. We have done so as of January 1st, 2017. That represents a significant change for Avon Lake in the way that we run and fund our health services for our residents, moving from a system where the city paid out of its general revenue another city to run our health department to a levy on our property tax to fund a county health district. As a consequence, at the request of the council president, the Public Service Committee thought it worthwhile to study the Lorain County General Health District to ensure that it's providing value to the Avon Lake residents, not only in services, but in a cost-benefit analysis as to the amount of funding that our residents provide through their tax dollars. So to that end, the Public Service Committee is recommending the creation of an advisory commission consisting of 3 individuals, residents that are healthcare or medical professionals, as well as a representative from the mayor's office and a representative of city council to study this issue over the next 2 years, evaluate the health district, and make a report back to the mayor and city council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I might add also, and I appreciate Mr. James bringing this forward, the other part of the role is to make sure we take advantage of all the services that the healthcare offers, because there is a number of services in that, and we want to make sure that we get as many for the residents as possible.
As everyone in the community knows, there have been a lot of construction projects related to the Avon Lake Regional Water taking place throughout the city. Mr. Presley did send out a press release to the print media on April 27th. And it reads, Moody's Investor Services assigned a AA3 rating to the City of Avon Lake's general obligation long-term debt based upon the review of the 2015 audited financial statements. According to Moody's, quote, the AA3 GALT rating reflects outsized contingency liability risk presented by the city's water and sewer enterprise infrastructure needs. The city was previously assigned a AA2 rating. Mr. Presley?
Thank you, Mayor. And while certainly no one wants to receive a reduction in the bond rating, we view this as a temporary situation caused by the large capital expenditures necessary to comply with the Ohio EPA mandates to separate wastewater and stormwater. As is stated in the Moody's report, this is not a reflection of the general operations of the city, but reflects the fact that the city has issued general obligation debt to fund projects undertaken by Avon Lake Regional Water. The reason we do this is because Avon Lake Regional Water does not have the ability to issue general obligation debt under Ohio law. It can issue debt, but only in revenue bonds, which come at a higher interest rate when compared to general obligation debt. Avon Lake Regional Water has paid the debt obligations attributed to their portion of the GO debt annually and will continue to do so. There is no concern on the city's part that Avon Lake Regional Water will miss a principal or interest payment. However, Moody's does have the responsibility of identifying the contingent liability to the city if Avon Lake Regional Water did default on the obligation. Again, the general operations of the city will continue as budgeted, and no changes are on the horizon for any municipal department. The change in debt rating is based solely on the debt issued on behalf of Avon Lake Regional Water and not the general fund of the city.
The 2016 audited financial information, which will be released shortly, will show that the revenues for Avon Lake Regional Water will have increased. This alone reflects a more favorable rating in the near future. The finances of the city are stable, and we have been conservative when developing the city's budget each year. The relationship between the city and Avon Lake Regional Water is somewhat like a parent and a minor child, and then we have to co-sign for everything. Avon Lake Regional Water is quasi-independent of the city in many ways, according to the charter, but when we do any type of borrowing, they must come to us and have us approve it. The Moody's statement that they did release suggested that the city's finances are sound and the city's finances are very stable, and we anticipate that that will be the case for a number of years to come. So they did not express any concern about the city's status, but because we underwrite what utilities does, it does affect us indirectly. Again, if this whole study had taken place several weeks later and the 2016 audit were part of the calculations and analysis, we're confident that that AA2 rating would still be with us. Mr. Presley, you have any other comments, sir?
The only thing I would add, Mayor, is that this is part of an annual review that Moody's is charged with. They, again, will be reviewing the finances of the city once the 2016 audited numbers come out, but they do have up to a year to make that review and then come out with a rating for the city.
Mrs. Snyderbush.
I have three if I could. Thank you. Memorial Day is coming up. It is going to be, as always, May the 29th. It's the last Monday of the month. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, that's when the parade will begin. If you and your organization would like to be a participant thereof, please get a hold of me so that we can get you into the lineup.
This past Sunday, the Avon Lake Historic Preservation Commission held their ceremony to formally dedicate the two properties that City Council had passed and designated as historic landmarks within the last couple of months. And that was the Buer household, located on Walker Road, and the Kunzel home, also located on Walker Road. There was a standing room only crowd at the Folger home. Many of the Kunzels and the Suratas, who are the owners of the two properties, had friends and family in. The Suratas brought in the Buer family, who had resided in that home dating back to the 1850s, and they came all the way in from Illinois for the event. And there's not many times when you do that. Sometimes with this position as City Council, you feel it's somewhat of a thankless job and that you don't ever really make anyone truly happy or satisfied. But that event was just so well done by the Historic Preservation Commission. And I know Mr. O'Donnell was there as well, too, and I'm sure he can attest to it. But the emotion that those families showed, and it really is a culmination on a life's work. Those two families put so much into those homes, and to have their friends and families in that room and see that it was being formally recognized really was rewarding. And I want to congratulate the Buer family, the Suratas, and the Kunzels once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Congratulate the school system because they had the, I think they were rated third in Northeast Ohio.
Right.
And at the dinner, they were honoring, I think, 138 scholars there. So it was a great event. The system does a great job. One of the reasons why people want to move into Avon Lake. So I just wanted to congratulate the schools and Mr. Scott for the job well done.